So for today's Mehndi, I combined these two designs and put them into one video because they both ended up being pretty short, and I wanted this video to be long enough so that I could record another story for you. So I hope you enjoy, and thank you for watching. Do you ever find yourself deep into a true crime binge, wondering how anyone could actually do something that dark in real life? I mean, we all enjoy a good mystery, right? A Netflix docuseries, a jaw-dropping case, maybe even some late-night Reddit scrolling. But what happens when someone doesn't just consume content? They study it. Let me tell you about someone who did exactly that. 23-year-old Jung Yoo-jung from Busan, South Korea. Her story? It didn't just shake headlines. It rattled how a lot of people think about obsession, curiosity, and the boundary between fiction and reality. From the outside, Jung looked like a quiet, unemployed 20-something living with her grandfather. But behind that screen, she was diving headfirst into an abyss of true crime media, watching, reading, and researching with the precision of someone preparing for an exam. Only, this wasn't homework. She was Googling how to kill someone, how to hide a body, and poring over crime novels like they were manuals. And it gets even darker. She wasn't just consuming. She was crafting a plan, a months-long blueprint drawn from fantasy, pieced together by pure, unfiltered curiosity. Her focus was singular: the intricate details of violent crimes, specifically murder, and even more specifically, the perfect murder, how to commit it, and crucially, how to get away with it. This wasn't just passive consumption. Jung was actively studying. And here's where it gets even more disturbing. As part of a later investigation, Jung underwent a professional psychological assessment. And this included the Psycho Checklist Revised, or PCL-R. I mean, this isn't some online personality quiz. You know, the ones that you run into while you're scrolling and it says, hey, take this test and it'll show you how much of a psycho you are. No, this is a rigorous clinical tool administered by trained forensic psychologists. Her score was alarmingly high, which indicates a significant presence of psychopathic traits. This wasn't a diagnosis in itself, but it painted a chilling picture of an individual capable of cold, calculating actions, devoid of empathy, and with a profound disregard for moral boundaries. This wasn't just a troubled mind. It was a mind seemingly detached from the very concept of human suffering. Now, with her studies complete, Jung moved on from theory into grim application. She needed a victim, and her method of finding one was just as insidious as her motive. She turned to a seemingly innocuous online tutoring app, a commonplace tool for education, and somehow twisted it into a hunting ground. Her profile on the app was a masterful deception. She posed as the mother of a 9th grade girl, seeking English lessons for her fictional daughter. This allowed her to easily connect with tutors, building a facade of normalcy and trust. But her search wasn't random. She meticulously scrolled through profiles, specifically targeting young female tutors who operated from the perceived safety and privacy of their own homes. This strategic choice was crucial for her plan, ensuring isolation and minimizing witnesses. She contacted over 50 tutors, engaging in conversations, feigning interest, and carefully vetting her potential targets. And after weeks of this chilling masquerade, she finally honed in on a 26-year-old freelance English tutor in Busan. Now, this young woman, dedicated to her profession, had no idea she was communicating not with a concerned parent, but with a predator meticulously planning her demise. A meeting was arranged for May 26, 2023, at the tutor's home. The day of the murder was a twisted theatrical performance, rehearsed in Jung's mind, over and over again. To ensure her entry and to further the deception, Jung acquired a school uniform online. And her small stature, combined with the uniform, allowed her to convincingly pass as a 9th grade student that she claimed to be. The tutor, unsuspecting, opened her door and welcomed in what she believed was a potential new student. There was no suspicion, no warning, just the polite exchange of a teacher meeting a new pupil. But once inside, the mask dropped. The pretense of an English lesson vanished, replaced by an act of unfathomable violence. Armed with a knife that she had brought, Jung launched her attack. She didn't just stab the tutor once or twice. Reports indicate that she stabbed her more than 100 times. Think about that for a moment. Over 100 separate blows. The attack was prolonged, relentless, and continued even after the victim had undoubtedly succumbed. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was an act of brutal, calculated overkill. A manifestation of the dark fantasies that she had cultivated. The sheer ferocity speaks volumes about the depth of her depravity and the complete absence of human empathy. What followed the murder was calculated and precise. Jung left the scene not to flee, but to acquire the tools for the next wicked phase of her plan. She purchased bleach, trash bags, and a large suitcase. Then, with unsettling composure, she returned to the tutor's apartment. Her intention was clear: to dismember the body and dispose of it, leaving absolutely no trace. She worked with careful exactitude, placing the remains into a newly acquired suitcase, and this wasn't just about hiding the evidence. It was about erasing the victim, reducing her to a mere component. Believing her perfect murder was still on track, Jung then hailed a taxi. With a heavy, blood-soaked suitcase in tow, she directed the driver to a remote, forested area near the Nakdong River. She intended to scatter the remains, trusting the river's vastness and the dense foliage to forever conceal her crime. However, even the most thoroughly constructed schemes can harbor a fatal flaw. The taxi driver, a man with years of experience, became unnerved. Jung's unusual demeanor and noticeable weight of the suitcase and a faint smell he couldn't quite identify all raised his suspicions. But the ultimate giveaway was the blood. As she exited the taxi, a trickle of blood from the improperly sealed suitcase became visible. And alarmed, the driver immediately contacted the police. That keen observation, that quick thinking, was the thread that finally unraveled Jung Yoo-jung's perfect murder. Police quickly responded to the taxi driver's tip, and the trail led them straight to Jung's apartment, where they found a horror show. Blood-stained clothing, evidence of the dismemberment, and traces that confirmed her heinous act. Confronted by the undeniable evidence, Jung's world of deception began to crumble. Her story changed multiple times, desperately trying to deflect blame. At first, she tried to pin it on an accomplice, a fictional figure she claimed coerced her. Then, she shifted her narrative, claiming it was an argument that spiraled tragically out of control. But each lie was easily debunked by the overwhelming forensic evidence. Finally, facing the inevitable, Jung confessed. And her confession was arguably more disturbing than the act itself. She admitted that there was no personal grudge against the tutor. She said there was no financial motive and no other reason. Her chillingly simple explanation was that she wanted to experience what it felt like to kill someone. So the true crime stories, the documentaries, the novels, they had not just entertained her, they had actually inspired her, fueling a morbid curiosity that she felt compelled to act upon. It was an unprecedented admission that blurred the lines between fictional horror and real-life atrocity in the most terrifying way imaginable. So in November 2023, Jung Yoo-jung faced her reckoning in court. She was sentenced to life in prison. During the trial, her defense team attempted to argue for leniency, citing mental health issues. However, the court unequivocally rejected this plea. The judge's words resonated with the public sentiment, stating that the crime was carefully planned and carried out, and that Jung's high score on the psych exam, it further underscored the calculated nature of her actions. The court concluded that the murder had caused widespread fear and distrust in society, particularly impacting perceptions of safety in everyday online interactions, such as using tutoring apps. This case didn't just shake South Korea, it sent ripples globally. It forced a deeply uncomfortable conversation about the potent, sometimes insidious influence of media. When does fascination cross the line into dangerous obsession? How do we distinguish between the entertainment and inspiration for unthinkable acts? The Jung Yoo-jung case stands as a stark, horrifying reminder that for some, the darkest fantasies of fiction can bleed into the brutal realities of the world. It blurs that line, leaving us to grapple with unsettling questions about human nature, societal vulnerabilities, and the shadows that lurk within seemingly ordinary lives. It's a dark rabbit hole, but I'm here to walk through it with you. What do you think? Has media obsession played a role in other crimes you've heard about? Or how has this case specifically impacted your own trust in online safety and the people we connect with through the screens? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you. Bye.